We ready?
Yeah, we ready.
Time for the hand signal. Here we go.
JB, what's the name of the podcast?
It's a pod named Kickback. A pod named Kickback. It's like a Tribe Called Quest.
You say the whole thing. Welcome to a pod named Kickback, also known as the Black CNN. Do y'all catch that every week? Also known as the Black CNN. And the revolution will be televised. I'm No Breaks New, the righteous ratchet. If you throw it out, catch it. If you got it, I'll match it. Even with a bald head. Every Monday. We right back at it. I am the bald savage. Black savage.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's JB Frank. I'm that gangster geek coming at you every goddamn Monday. Representing NWA. Nerds with Attitude. Happy Shmonday, everybody. The sun is shining. It's hot in Atlanta. We have been outside exercising, working out.
Ladies, you see the knees. You see the knees.
I feel good today.
That's what's up.
You know, this is going to be a great show. You know, let's just get right into it, young.
All right, so you guys, we got a lot to talk about. Y'all read the description. We're gonna start with, as we do every week. Actually, I'm gonna start this way. Shout out to everybody watching on Facebook.
Yeah.
A lot of times y'all don't get credit. Shout out to everybody that watches this on YouTube tomorrow, which is Monday, and that's why we say Shmonday, because we recorded Sunday with y'all, and then we do it Monday with y'all. So shout out to Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Facebook, and all our Christian Mingle fans, man. We supporters, kickbackers.
Yeah, and especially shout out to our Patreon fans. Thank you for your support and your participation in the movement. It really, 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 really helps. And we encourage you guys to tell your friends about that, and tell your friends that we got something good going on. Again, those Patreon accounts are going to give you outtakes, special little moments that you're not going to see on the traditional Facebook broadcast or the YouTube
or Apple or Spotify.
Exactly.
Only on Patreon.
Exactly. You're gonna be able to check out some of our merch very soon. So you know, this is gonna be a good look. And you know, thank you for your support, first of all, but you know, help us kick it up a notch. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. Appreciate you, kickbackers. Now, high and low of the week, JB. You want to start it?
Yeah, I'll go.
All right.
So my low of the week is just the contiguous and continuous and overflowing lack of leadership that we are facing during the COVID-19
contiguous shit too. I won't gonna let that go, JB. You thought I was gonna slide? That's a gangster geek word of the week at the top of the damn show.
Yeah,
contiguous, JB.
I used it last week though. It's one of my favorite words because it means things that happen in succession. It's something that happens consistently. You use contiguous with words like trajectory. It's going to end where it starts. And the lack of leadership in our country is following an even and sequential line. He is making bad decisions at every single point. And all of his asshole cronies throughout the government and throughout the country are making bad decisions, and it's affecting our lives. It's affecting my life. So that is my low of the week. Fuck that nigga. Moving on. My high of the week was actually the July 4th holiday new, because I saw three very important things. One, I got to see my kids, which is always awesome. Yeah. Number two, I saw us as a group and as a team and as a crew talk about social distancing and how important that was, and have that conversation happen with respect and dignity. Like, you know, niggas had plans. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Niggas had plans months ago about the 4th. You know what I'm saying? We had said everything.
We do something every year.
And what we learned is that people were like think things weren't going to be working out, the way they should in terms of social distancing. So news spoke up about it, I spoke up about it, and everybody else respectfully understood. You know what I'm saying, New? And so that's what needs to happen right now. That's my high of the week because it's that important, especially now. That's all I really want to say about COVID, New, but I had to get that out there. Like, us social distancing the right way is a win for us, and it's a win for everybody who does it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and just because JB said that, I'm gonna explain something because the comments are going like, "You got a bald head," or they add contiguous to their lexicon. Good job. Oh, peace. Love you, nice. Let's see.
Make sure we on public, yeah.
Oh, damn. I know we not. So JB just told me to check the phone to make sure the post is public, and it's not. So let me go ahead and fix that. Damn. See, the pre-show activities we having deleterious effects, nigga. oh
shit.
That's the Righteous Ratchet word of the
week. Deleterious.
You know what that is? Kickbackers. Don't think the Righteous Ratchet ain't got no words neither, nigga. And we are public, and I'm gonna share one more time since we public
now I can see the comments.
Boom, boom, boom.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. And so based on piggybacking off what JB was saying, the reason I'm bald headed now is because every time I get on Instagram, my barber at a club, I'm like, I'm not doing it. And my barber, my man, that's our man. That's our nigga. But I'm still like, I'm not doing it. You don't think COVID is real enough? I need to, I'll figure something out. And so I was like, should I, just shave it low? Should I try to do my own tip? I'm skillful. What should I do? And I was like, I was gonna cut that shit off. I ain't gotta worry about it. I can shape up the beard, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I ain't gotta worry about going to a barber every week or woofing. Like I'm a DC nigga. Not having a haircut every week
is horrible.
It do something to my soul, you know what I'm saying? Like that, call me a pretty boy, whatever.
I've been cutting my own hair for decades now. Most of the niggas in the 5 cut their own hair at this point because
but my hair is so illustrious. So I like to have my waves and my shit. But I'm like, man, fuck that shit. I ain't trying to die getting the haircut. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how I go. I ain't seeing nobody. I ain't talking to nobody. I ain't trying to die for the motherfucking haircut. Fuck that shit. So I'm bored, nigga. Like that's what we doing here. That's gotta be a nice to laugh at. I know that's her ass. She always got some shit to say. Baby ass clean. What up, Cali Queen?
I had to pop that one up. That's funny.
Yeah,
man. So he joined the club.
Yeah, because we was on a Zoom call last night,
it was like,
and everybody was bored. Oh shit! So now 4 to 5 are bored.
Right.
For y'all that watch the show, y'all know the 5 is our crew. We grew up with 30 plus years. But we do got a lot of stories I know y'all here for. Most of y'all here for August Alsina and Jada. So I feel like we're getting to it. Trust me.
Okay.
But did you get through your high and low?
Yes, I did. I'm done with that. Go ahead and get on yours. That's better.
Okay, yeah. My low of the week. I had to have a real talk with myself because I didn't feel like I was grinding as hard as I should be, and I wasn't moving as fast on things as I wanted to. And I'm doing coming out of this quarantine, I want to be in a much better position.
Right.
So I was assessing things, and I wasn't moving hard enough. I wasn't working hard enough, and I had to have a talk with myself, like step it up. June was one of our best month of the year for the podcast, and one of our best months ever. But there are several other components to my life that I got to step it up in all them areas, including working out. Because I want to lose this gut so I can make sure Marla Negro won a nigga. Yeah, I gave up Ashanti. It's Amara. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I'm in shape and doing what I got to do and on every front. And that was my low. Well, my low was the down part, and I guess my high was the up part. But I just really quickly, I threw in another high. Watching Hamilton. And we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But that, as a rapper, the Righteous Ratchet, and as a person who loves history and that's into like the Secrets of War, the Art of War, Battles, Peaky Blinders, Queen of the South, that shit, to be able to see all of that with nothing but rap. That was dope. They didn't. It was all the dialogue is rapping, and as a rapper, that shit amazing. But that's my hello, JB. I'm gonna get into our kickback fact of the week.
Yeah, let's do it.
So
I knew this, by the way.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Oh,
I figured you knew it. That's why I picked it, because I figured you either knew it or would want to know. Our fact of the week is Superman could not always fly. The original comic book Superman could leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Yep, faster than the speeding
bullet. Right. That was an old black and white TV show too. Mm-hmm. But then he had to come right back down to earth because he didn't fly. It wasn't until the 1940s, around the time JB was born, when animators decided for a new animated series, decided it was too difficult to routinely draw him bending his knees, jumping, and all that shit. So they decided to make it so that he could fly. He gained a new superpower. Readers got smoother animation, and that became the story. Superman flying.
Yeah. I've geeked out on Superman before. I'm not going to do it now. We got plenty other shit to talk about. But yeah, that's a great fun fact. The
kickback fun fact.
Yep. Kickback like fun fact. Yep.
We're gonna do those every week.
There you go.
You gotta come up with next week's joke.
I got it right now, but go ahead.
All right. So my left stroke just went viral. Our viral story of the week. Jada Pinkett Smith and August Alsina and Willard Smith III. Woo! When Jada Pinkett's birthday last year, when her birthday came in August, Alsina wrote that loving, touching Facebook or Instagram post, and then the song with her middle name in it about the girl he loved. We started going, is something up with them?
Yeah, it's a lot.
I don't know. It's something up with them.
There's a lot going on.
And then a little bit of time passed. I forgot about it. I'm watching the Red Table Talks. That's all I really think about when it comes to Jada. And then Will just dropped that verse. So I'm like, okay, yeah, Will spitting again. But I forgot about the August Alsina shit. This nigga did an interview with Angela Yee.
Yeah.
Where he talks about their relationship.
Yeah.
How he went to Will and got Will's blessing first, because they're in their life. They transition from married couple to life partners. To be honest, I'm poly, so like I'm like, yeah, okay, like what's the big deal? But if there was a level of integrity that was missing from those interactions, then that would be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it sounds like there wasn't.
It sounds like it's unethical non-monogamy.
Well, does it sound like it now if he spoke to Will? Or?
Well, they're saying that conversation never happened.
Oh, okay.
Which makes it like we don't know what the fuck going on. Right. But let's say August is telling the truth and what he's saying is real, then that is ethical non-monogamy. He had a conversation with Will, and I'm not going to get into more detail on that. I want to tell our story. August. Now, boom. And now this is another perspective. He was snitching. Why was he saying it on TV? Why was he in an interview? Why is he bringing their business out to the forefront? He addressed that and said that because of the rumor, the alleged situation, which he brought on himself by making a song and making that post. But that put him in a space where he was looked at as a bad guy, the villain, and he wanted to give clarity to the situation. Like he wasn't fucking somebody else's wife and like she was cheating. Like it was understood. It was a situation. And so he was like, I would never say nothing, but it's starting to fuck with my money because people looking at me like I'm a dirtbag.
I can see that.
He made that bad.
Well,
with his initial comments.
Yeah, I mean, and I think honestly, the song and the other shit, I'm gonna keep you the buck with y'all. I think that was some sucker for love shit. Like, I don't think he was in his right mind when he actually did that. I think
he wasn't. He has mental issues.
Okay, then. So and so I think everything that he's trying to do now is walk that shit back. And you can't really walk that shit back because you was never, whether it was consensual or what the fuck ever, you wasn't supposed to do that shit. I mean, you entirely fucked that money up. It just is what it is. So whether it was consensual or not, you kind of broke the code by putting yourself out there like that from the giddy up. You know what I'm saying? And that's the tough part about this situation.
Okay, neither of them can have an extramarital relationship without permission from the other. Says he personally knew about the situation, or their particular situation, and I don't even have an issue with that. Like that makes sense to me.
Right.
Like it's not like that's so weird. Like I know I have delved in poly. Plenty of people I know are poly. Like it is what it is. Shout out to the amorous community. We can monogamy, poly. That's what we do. But yeah, shout out to us. But my point is that ain't weird to me.
Nah.
And I don't really have an issue with it, except August keeps telling us about it. That's my only issue. Like, why are you now? Jada saying she's gonna do an episode addressing it on the Red Table Talk. I mean, I would watch it. It's interesting. I ain't doing shit else. When I can carve time off of my hustles and my job and the podcast, if I got an hour to listen to Jada break this down, I will definitely take it. I saw people on the internet shaming people like, oh yeah, last week y'all was marching, and this week you're listening to Jada in August. And I'm like, niggas can take a break. Niggas can read something funny.
Yeah.
Niggas can go and watch Pornhub and jerk off. Or niggas can go, you don't have to be revolution 24 hours a day, all day, every day. And I'm never going to be nothing but serious. It's like, y'all got to relax. Dog.
Hence this show, precisely this show. We are taking a mental break, and you need to do that. My father used to always say, shout out to James A. I know you're checking us out today, but you used to always tell me you got to pay yourself first, to take time, because work-life balance is important, especially for us as a people.
And what's going on right now. So y'all stop all that shaming. I hate when y'all do that. What do you guys think? Let me take a look about this Jada and
they got August shit. Trey got a lot to say.
I see. He's just trying to sell albums. He 100% wrong. He making no real money, no way. I think Jada's gonna do Damage Control. I think that
I agree.
They have been private about. It always comes out that they are swingers or whatever, but they've been, or that they date non-monogamously, or they marry non-monogamously. They're poly. That's always been a rumor. This is another time it came out. Now she does have that show,
right?
Which this conversation on her show the numbers would go through the roof.
Yeah, it's gonna pop. I mean, this whole situation is gonna pop, and we can't deny that, and we can't really deny that. There's a little bit of a kind of a there's a man behind the curtain going on here with what homeboy is doing. It is what it is.
Let me answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's going to do more Damage Control than Tell the Truth, but I think she's going to allude. I think she's going to be like, something was going on with me and him. Boom, 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 boom. I don't think she's going to be like, we had a sexual relationship. I think she's going to say, our relationship, the way we interacted was like this, and that led to an argument, or that led to hurt feelings. But I don't think she's going to just, give us the straight story. But I think she'll do it in a way that we can read between the lines. Jada from Baltimore. Jada is in the industry, and she's Hollywood and all in Hollywood. But Jada ain't gonna do a whole show just to bullshit us. If she gonna do a show, she gonna give us a peek under the tent. She might not go into details, but she'll allude to certain things, and she'll leave certain things up to imagination. That's my respect level for Jada.
Yeah, I well, Cuzzo says that she's gonna tap dance, and honestly, I expect her to tap dance a bit, but I expect her to do so well, and there's a difference. That's kind of what she gotta do, you know what I'm saying? And we can't really be mad at her for doing that, for trying to clean this bullshit up. This is some whack shit. Like, let's just keep it 100 right now. Like this is some corny dumb shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, let's just call it what the fuck it is.
Nobody would do that. Nobody I know would do that. Like, we're not doing that dumb shit. We're not going on. Now, I have talked about me and Ashanti's relationship, JB. So I got to keep it 100. But that is because we want y'all to know about our love. We don't mind y'all knowing it's different.
Yeah. So why don't we move on to? I'm not even going to comment on it.
She got a brand she can't mess up. August has gone through a lot. August, like, she was at one point saying she was his mother, which made it even weird because of their relationship. I don't know that he was a side dude. And I think that's the thing that I talk about between understanding monogamy and polyamory. Like, if he talked to Will and those conversations are real, then he was another partner, not a side nigga. A side nigga is a secret, you see when you can see, and, randomly, and another partner is another relationship. And that's also different from, necessarily a throuple. So when you date kitchen poly, that means everybody, all the partners know each other, meet and talk. And that's kind of sounds like what they were doing, where everybody knows what's going on. And it's ethical non-monogamy. I think that's what they were doing. But at some point, they decided August wasn't a fit partner anymore. Either Will said it or Jada said it. Somebody decided he couldn't be part of it.
I think he said it when he did it. Honestly,
he did. Well, they ended it long before that. So he did some shit.
Okay.
And then they ended it. And then the I love you, happy birthday shit happened. Allegedly, because I don't know them. I have met Jada. We've talked, but I don't know the motherfuckers.
Right.
So according to lore, according to the story, that's what we got with them. Mm-hmm. But I wish everybody the best. I hope that they don't, fracture relationships even more or beyond
Jada
repair.
Gonna straighten that shit out, I think she's gonna get a table talk together and just calm all that shit down. And it's
gonna be interesting to see how she does it. Because it's a waste of a show if she bullshit.
Yeah.
So having said that, somebody who doesn't bullshit, the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave a Savior's Day address, which is the day that W. Muhammad came from Mecca to North America to save Black people. And one of his students was Elijah Muhammad. And Elijah Muhammad, studying under him Islam and studying his lessons, basically created the Nation of Islam in 1930. So, having said that, it was Savior's Day, which is the anniversary of the day that he came to North America, July 4th, 1930. And Minister Farrakhan does a Savior's Day address every year. And this year it was on Revolt. It was picked up by different news sources. And so it was more readily available, and a lot of people tuned in. And I wanted to get y'all thoughts on the speech. Y'all write us right now with Facebook, of course, but even if this is tomorrow and you're on YouTube, or if this is tomorrow and you're on Apple or Spotify, put it in the comments, make a note, tell us what you thought about the speech. And while y'all are doing that, I'm going to shift it to you, JB. What were your thoughts on the speech?
I thought he addressed a lot of important issues, and I thought that he addressed them in a very cogent way. And what I mean by that is, I mean that he addressed them with historical references. He addressed them with important facts, but he also addressed them with the feelings and the emotion and the outrage of our people. I felt like, as always, but especially now, in most cases, he truly was speaking for us. Now, I'm not a member of the Nation of Islam. I'm not a Muslim. And as you mentioned, this was his annual, it's like his State of the Union address, so there were a lot of situations where he lost me when he was talking about very things that are very particular and personal to him and to the nation that I wasn't aware of. And then there was also some of just kind of company business that he was doing during the speech that, you know, I didn't really follow. But at the same time, I felt that it was a universal speech, but I felt like there were some things that I know he was saying from the heart knew that I wish he would have said a little differently, you know.
Okay, I hear that. I've tuned into these for over 30 years. I don't think I've seen everyone over the last 35 years, but I've seen most of them over the last 35 years. There was a decidedly different tone, a decidedly, well, I guess because of COVID, different scenery. It's usually...
Well, hold up.
Okay, well, you can view the speech on Revolt TV's YouTube page. Yeah, there you go. Boom. Go to Revolt TV's YouTube page and it's up there. Or just go to YouTube and Google Savior's Day 2020. For those who haven't seen it. It was a decidedly different tone. He alluded, I really feel like it was his farewell speech. I'll get into what I thought he talked about, but it felt like he was saying goodbye. He had mentioned, you know, facing death before being poisoned. He talked about he didn't do the I might not make it there with you, but he said, I'm going to be leaving. And after I'm gone, this. And it was a recurring theme of I never said Jewish people were termites. It's been I didn't say it. That's just a lie. It was a lot of I didn't do this. And there was a lot of I have done this. I have cared about this. And it made me feel like, and I don't say that in a negative way. I say it, I think it was his farewell. Now, getting into some of the issues he addressed, I absolutely agree, loved, and I actually wanted to play it. I guess we'll play it at the end of the show. God damn it. That's their pregame activity. I wanted to play part of the speech, and I had it teed up. But I like him saying, don't take the vaccine. I don't know if I'm taking the vaccine when it comes, but I know that I should be afraid of the vaccine. I know the vaccine is a threat. Whether or not it's a potential threat, I'll say. And I'm on the fence with that, but I know it's a potential threat. I mean, we've seen Tuskegee Airmen. We saw what they did to Native Americans with smallpox. We know what they do with vaccines. So that I appreciate him saying that, and I want everybody else to make up their own mind. I don't have a definitive opinion either way. It depends on when it comes out and when the trials are done and what I think of it before I have a final on my decision. But I love that he was he talked about, you know, the history of America, the history of the nation, and I felt uplifted.
I felt empowered, you know, because like I said, he said a lot of things that a lot of us have been saying, but he said them the way we are saying them. And one thing I want to call out specifically is he talked about the police brutality specifically, and he talked about how Black people aren't going to take that shit no more.
Yep. What do you say, JB? The jump out boys? Yeah, you don't want to jump out here.
Yeah, because you might not be able to jump back in. And that's how brothers and sisters are feeling right now. And I'm glad he said that shit out loud. There are things that folks like Fox News are going to take from this speech and make incendiary. It is what it is. It was not a hate-filled speech, in my opinion, by any fucking stretch of any kind of imagination. But there are spits and spots where they're going to take those sound bites and turn them into something that they are not, you know.
I agree. And that was one thing that I wanted. But if it's my last speech, I'm gonna say what the fuck I'm gonna say. But I was like, ooh, they're gonna use that and they're gonna destroy the whole thing. And I normally don't care because that speech ain't for everybody.
Right.
That speech for us. But this speech felt like it was for everybody. It felt like he was trying to clear his name and let people know exactly where he stood. And he talked about his relationship with God and what he was praying for what he was asking for, and he was like, God is listening to me. Like, to be clear, like, I've been praying for certain things and it's happening. Wait a minute. Like, get on my good side. I'm seeing things going on now. And I appreciated that. I appreciated him standing up to the white man, white racist people, and saying, hey, you know, the symbolism is good. I like you doing these nice little things, but it's time to do some real shit. And before we move on, I had made an album when I was in like junior high school, and I named it like 439 years. It was like brace yourself. 439 years of oppression, a lifetime of misery. Yeah, I was sad. I know it sounds morbid, but that was like in 91.
Right.
And I was at 439 years.
Right.
And then this year, everybody was saying it's 401 years of slavery, 401. And I'm like, I was at 439 in the 90s, nigga. Why are you at 401? And I like that he brought up that it was 64 years missing, because that reaffirmed what I already thought. And I appreciate that. But it was unique that people nowadays are going with 401 years to a particular day where a particular group was brought to where, JB? I know you know.
Well, you're talking about 1555 or
no, the 1619.
1619. That was Virginia. That was in
Jamestown.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody uses that as the exact date when slaves were brought to America, when in actuality it was 1955.
1555.
1555, excuse me. Jeez, that's before the show activities. But JB, you was actually hipping me to some shit. We was talking about the Dutch, and before the American slave trade of 1555, it was some other shit going on.
Yeah.
So let the kickbackers know.
Okay. So I'm gonna geek out on y'all for a second. Slavery has existed as a global system for centuries before Amerigo Vespucci landed in Florida with slaves in 1555.
Yeah.
So you got to look at the fact that enslavement in the Americas, North and South America, did not start with African slaves. They first attempted to enslave the Indians, the Native American population, but the Native Americans kept dying from smallpox. African people were already exposed to smallpox due to their trade with Europe. So they had already built up a herd immunity to the disease and thus could survive not only smallpox through contact with Europeans, but also the malarial conditions of the West Indies. So Christopher Columbus eventually brought slaves back to Hispaniola, which was I believe that was Cuba, that he landed. No, he landed on the Bahamas, back to the Bahamas, ultimately wiped out the entire population. Now, slavery actually started with the Dutch in the early 1400s. The early 1400s, explorers into Africa were actually trading African prisoners of war and captured slaves with chieftains in the 1400s and bringing those slaves back to Europe. Right. So you got to understand that when you talk about slavery in America, you are talking about a global system of enslavement that was well established by the time that it started in America. Right.
Break it down, JB. Break it the fuck down. We do want to move on. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we move on?
Nah, let's keep it moving. Yeah.
Okay. So our what the fuck, and this is not going to be a sad show, I promise you, but our what the fuck story of the week.
Yeah, let's rip through this one.
Is the don't say that. Don't say it like that, because that makes it sound like we're not taking it serious.
Oh no, I'm gonna clean it up. I got you.
Vanessa Guillen.
I would say Guillen.
Vanessa Guillen, a United States soldier in the Army, was murdered. That's what we'll start with if you don't know. What we've come to find out is she reported her sergeant for sexual abuse, sexual harassment, and then she wound up missing.
Yes.
And then they found her body. And the coroner is now saying she had her head bashed in with a hammer, and I believe she was all sliced up.
this is a horrible, horrible, horrible story of abuse and tragedy. And um, I want to lay out the facts quickly and express my concern, but I want to get through it quickly because I don't want to dwell on this, So I
All right.
apologize for the insensitive comment, but that was the thought behind it. The fact is that this poor woman reported sexual misconduct and she was murdered for it by her mentally ill sergeant. She went missing literally on the day that she was promoted to a specialist position. Um, what was found out after they arrested the sergeant and talked to him was that he and another member of that squad or whatever took the body and they chopped it up and then they buried it and they poured concrete over it to try and just fucking get rid of it, to try and sweep the whole fucking thing under the rug. And shout out to the lawyer who worked so hard to keep this case moving and to bring the proper conclusion about. The criminals were arrested, but this is just a horrible, 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 horrible case. Dude.
Yeah. Now you say they were arrested. When did that happen?
Well, when I read through the article in detail, they had detailed statements from the two men who did the murder. So I'm assuming that they were arrested. Otherwise, how did they get those stories?
Yeah.
Because they were like details. I
was still on my hashtag justice for Vanessa Guillen hashtag. So I'm like, they were arrested, which could have happened. I guess I just didn't know where we were in the case.
Well, but, I mean, and here's an interesting comment, and I think this is the scary part, right? Like, this ain't the first time
right
fuck shit has happened at
and the young lady who created the hashtag for Vanessa Guillen to get justice, she's missing now.
Mm-hmm.
Protect black women, protect Latino women, protect white women, protect women, nigga. Like, this shit is, niggas is out here out of fucking control. Like, dead ass, they out of fucking control. What up, bro? Just tuned in. It's a history of bullshit at Fort Hood. Yeah. Let's see. Our Donald, well, I don't be dumb. We're not saying that nigga name no more. I don't be dumb award goes to JB's favorite NFL owner, the guy that owns his favorite team in the world, Dan Snyder, who ain't no better than Jack King Cook or John King Cook, but whatever. This is my chance to shit on the Redskins, so I'm gonna take advantage of it. Excuse me, shit on the Washington team. So I'm gonna take advantage of it because I'm a Cowboy fan. They refused to change their name after, decades of requests, because the name is offensive to Native Americans. And we'll get into the different surveys. I do want to have that conversation. But from my understanding, was offensive, and he didn't make the decision until the money got in the way, until Nike took the Washington football team jerseys down, until FedEx, who owns the stadium or is the
sponsor for the stadium, they sit on the board for the team. Yeah,
said, hey, we about to withdraw, and it is. I am happy that it is now under consideration. I'll be happier once they actually change the name. And that's basically because of how Native Americans feel about that name. Now, we know there was a study done in the 90s where the majority of Native Americans said, hey, it doesn't offend us. And then there was some studies done over the last few years where, from what I saw, the elder Native Americans didn't have too much of a problem with the name. It was more in favor. But the under 30 detested the name, and it was like 67% of the under 30. So it's a problem for the younger generation. As they're, the older people might, just like with us, it's the young people out there marching. Me and JB, old asses ain't out there marching.
Right.
It's the millennials. They're marching. So it's the younger people that's making change. And from what we see, the younger Native Americans are pretty much saying this is a no-go. Like, change the fucking name. And so now that's being taken under consideration. What do you guys think? I know a lot of our audience is in DC and probably, unfortunately, Redskin fans.
Yeah, I let me chime in for a second here, New. Number one, you know, being part Native American, and having studied my own personal family history, the name didn't really offend me, because I knew more of the history behind the name. However, I honestly knew that doesn't fucking matter, because if any of our people are offended by a name, then you just need to fucking change it. Like, it's really that simple. Like, we don't need to go into anything else,
Yeah.
because it's not that deep. So fucking what about your history? Your fans don't like it, so change the fucking name. Like, it's just that simple. Like, what else needs to be said?
Yeah, and I think that in this time of everybody speaking out and everybody wanting to be politically correct, and I'm not mad at this, but I'm typically mad at it, but not in this instance. Other people's issues get thrown in with ours. Like, we're marching, based on the George Floyd murder, Ahmaud Arbery, and so many others. What's the sister name? Breonna Taylor. I'm gonna definitely make sure I say that. Everybody gets something with us, but I think this is a situation where, maybe they should. If they can take advantage of this platform, maybe Native Americans should do that, and let's get the name changed. What you want the new name to be, JB?
I don't know. I have no idea.
People are saying it got to be an R, so I can keep HTTR. So they're like, it's got to be an R.
I have no.
They talked about the Red Tails for Tuskegee Airmen, but I was like, fuck Tuskegee. Like, I love the Tuskegee Airmen, but we know what they did to us there, so I'm like, fuck Tuskegee.
Well, I mean, number one, and number two, what the fuck does Washington D.C. have to do with the Tuskegee Airmen? That's the part that bothers me. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea, young. I have no idea.
The Harlem Globetrotters say they sell them the name Generals. They can go to be the Washington Generals.
Yeah, I mean, they could be the DC Groovers.
We talked about that because DC's basketball team is called their D League team. The D League to the Wizards is the Capital City Go-Go. And they're literally called the Go-Go. And me and Sister Lauren, Ivan Hook, the whole the fam, we were discussing that shit. Like, it should be something to do with DC. Washington Mama Sauce, Washington Go-Go.
We getting corny ass suggestions.
Rough Riders, the Renegades. They say they want it to be R word, CTR. So if it's all Rough Riders, I'm just kidding. Yeah, whatever. We say the Renegades. I like the Renegades. I want something to represent DC. None of our teams represent us. You got the Washington. Well, I basically was the Senators, I guess. That kind of did it. The Nationals, they don't really represent us for real. The Redskins didn't represent us. The Bullets, now they represented us, but not for a good reason.
Right.
They represented us in a bad way. But the Wizards don't fucking represent us. It needs to be something that represent us. I think Go-Go, Mambo Sauce are the two pillars of DC. And I think our team should be one of those. It should be the Washington Go-Go. I don't give a fuck. That's what it should be. That's what we're known for. That's our biggest export. Unless you want to go with like crab cakes, but then that's kind of Boston. I'm in Baltimore. That's more really Baltimore for real. But DC known for is the government, the Washington Congress. I don't know. For government and go-go, goddamn it. That's in the alliteration. Government and go-go, goddamn it.
Well, we did have a little bit of a mic problem with you, New. I want to make sure that is straight. So, okay, you can hear him now. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much.
Do I have overalls? Nigga, do I look like I got on motherfucking overalls? The fuck, nigga? Niggas, I'm not reading none of y'all comments no more. Y'all niggas stupid as hell. I'm not reading that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you turn me up?
Yeah, I just did. That's what I'm checking on right now. I don't know. Well, I mean, they're on a little bit of a delay.
Chicky. So, yeah, can y'all hear me good? We need to start from scratch. Okay. Well, now we're here to send the cameras. Okay, so I think you can hear me because I want to make sure the ladies.
Yeah. What the fuck happened here? Still don't sound good. Hold up.
All right, we're having some technical difficulties. It looks like if you can hear me well, let me know. If you can't, let me know. Okay, he said "cuz too loud." So does that mean JB is too loud or I'm too loud?
I think that means that I'm too loud.
Okay, turn the levels back down. It's a little bit of distortion. Check, this did, that's me. We're gonna make sure we get this right, y'all. Technical difficulties happen. You know, we got a live show. This is what happens at live shows. If you haven't been to Hamilton, nigga, we the Hamilton of podcast, nigga. Jack. Well, kind of because we're live. Whatever podcasts are live. You know what I'm saying? Like think about it. You like Joe Budden? They not live. They recorded a whole day before. You know what I'm saying? Like, who else you like? Horrible Decisions, they not live. They record 2, 3, 4 episodes a week and then put them shits out when they get to it. We do our shit live on the spot. So sometimes you get technical difficulties.
Yeah.
You hear me now? Let me okay, JB, you saying it was your mic that was too loud and I'm too low.
Okay.
You can't hear me at all.
This is crazy.
Check.
All right.
Okay, we don't know what happened, but I'm on JB's mic now. So I'm thinking that you guys can hear me on JB's mic. Can you hear me on JB's mic? I'm waiting for a comment. Sorry about that. If you're watching, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or watching on YouTube, we'll try to edit it. But you're probably like, "What the fuck has been going on?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, we gotta deal with this. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So we might be sharing a mic for the rest of the show, guys, but we're gonna get through the rest of the goddamn show. I was telling y'all a great story. What story was I telling them, young? God damn it, I had a really good story for y'all. Damn. Oh, Dan Snyder, Redskins. We was talking about the Redskins name and how FedEx withdrew their money. We were talking about we had gone beyond that. Shit. Somebody tell me what we was talking about. I tell you what we'll do. We're gonna start giving out Nipsey Hussle awards while we get the sound together. We're gonna give out some Nipsey Hussle awards. Shout out to McCall Maker, who's the younger brother of Thon Maker in the NBA, and he has decided that he is going to take his basketball high school talent to my alma mater, the real HU. You know, he's going to Howard University. We all remember little Mikey, the 10th grader, who's like the best player in the world. Talked about when he graduates from high school, he's going to start. He may consider going to a HBCU. He'll have at least 2 teams in his top selection that he'll consider. The McCall Maker did it already and want to sign him out. But there were several more. Sharon Wright Jr., son of NBA player Sharon Wright, is going to be leaving his NCAA school to go to a MEAC school, a historically black college. There's a football player. I want to get his name right. Ingram. His name was Ingram. I want to get his name right. I don't have his damn name. Daniel Ingram. Daniel Ingram commits to Arkansas Pine to play football in NCAA. Yes. So this is like legit, like the shit. Like our kids are going to HBCUs. Our star talents, our top 5 recruits, our 5-star recruits are now starting to go to NCAA schools. And LeBron James' son, has said that he is set on NC State or NC, one of those North Carolina HBCUs or Duke. And those are the two teams he's debating. If LeBron James's son or if he decides to go to HBCU, you know how huge that is? The NCAA is already losing because the NBA's developmental league, where they have the Washington Go-Go, they're paying people $100,000 to go straight there.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a big win for our people. It shows the positivity of the movement and action.
Hold on, y'all gonna stop calling me old. They're like, you can't remember what the topic was because you old. Yeah, watch it, bucko. They hate us, young.
Yeah, but this is just a big power move for us as a people because this is going to bring more money into those institutions. Most of these guys are going to be one and done and go to the NBA. Because they're going to bring so much notoriety to these institutions, and we're going to see our own.
So I don't think they can hear you.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, now they can't hear you.
Oh boy, this is interesting.
Okay, so we don't exactly know what's going on, guys. We're just gonna keep it 100 with you, but we know that there's an issue with the sound. So we're checking the mics. But while we're doing that, I can tell you guys just really quickly how crazy Hamilton was. So, nigga, one, to be able to do an entire show where there's no dialogue, no regular talk. All the conversations are via song, rapping, or singing. As a rapper, I've written songs where like the girl talk back to me, I talk back to her, but that ain't a play, nigga. That ain't 2.5 hours of doing everybody's part, studying the history to know everybody's part, to be able to because you can have a speech that doesn't have to rhyme, and you can get your message across in way less time than it may take for an actual artist during a song because you got to write it and it has to rhyme and it has to fit. The flow has to fit. It's a lot. So sometimes you can have a 1 paragraph conversation and that would equate to an entire song. And I think with Lynn, I forget his full name, but what Lynn did is he was able to have those full conversations, give you a person's entire history, their life history in a verse, maybe a song at the most. And I learned so much about Alexander Hamilton that I didn't know. That's JB's guy. So JB knows a lot about Alexander Hamilton. And when we really get into the topic, I'll let him geek out on you because he hasn't seen it. But he knows just as much as we do. That's his guy.
Yeah, Alexander Hamilton is my dude. I can't deny that. Bear with me just a moment while we try and figure out this whole microphone situation.
Not sure if you guys can hear JB, but he's saying he's still well, could you guys hear him? That's important. Because if you could, then I ain't got to repeat what he said. And I heard that Hamilton tickets was like $800-900 at first, and it was steadily lowering. But I get it for $599. The shit is on my TV. I would turn the camera around and show y'all. It's paused on my TV right now. Like, it was amazing to me, man. Like, really fucking good show. Like, I don't know that I've seen a play that was better written. And I'm just keeping it a buck. And, like, fucking phenomenal. Excellent history lesson. The texture of the story, the depth that it took with the kids and the friends. And I don't want to ruin it, but I want you guys to know that I'm saying it's the greatest play of all time. And I don't think I'm alone. If you agree, can I get a amen? No, I'm playing.
Yeah, Alexander Hamilton is my guy. I haven't seen the whole play yet. We just listened to a couple of songs up top. It was dope because in the first few minutes I learned something about this man's life whom I've studied that I didn't know. I didn't know that he was born in the Caribbean, but he is in my top 2 founding fathers. It's basically him and Ben Franklin. He came up with the concept of a Federal Reserve Bank almost 150 years before it existed. So, he would have saved our economy during the Great Depression before the Great Depression even happened. That's what kind of genius we're talking about here. In addition to his military brilliance working under Washington during the Revolutionary War, his direct hand in the formulation of the Constitution, like this guy, I believe he
wrote the bulk of the Constitution.
He was the bulk.
51. Damn, the movie play told me, JB, but like the first guy wrote like 3 or 4, then he died, and then like George Washington or somebody wrote like 7 or 8, somebody wrote like 20, then he wrote the remaining 51. It was like, oh shit, like he didn't, kind of like the Constitution is based on him.
Yeah, I mean,
he's overwhelming majority.
Yeah, he eventually became the Secretary of the Treasury. He's a monster. Like
when he was running for Secretary of Treasury, they were having a debate. They made that a freestyle battle. You know how the rap battles be? So it escaped the song format, and they just still went toe to toe like. That's Blind MC. For those, I know Hook watching Blind MC. You know what it is. But, it was crazy. That was dope. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, just an amazing life. And those of you who haven't, I strongly encourage you to actually study the lives of the founding fathers, because their decision-making process as it relates to their lives is something that you can learn and use to understand the existence of racism in this country, to understand where we are, where we ended up, and why, when you delve into the discussions that they had about the formulation of this nation, because slavery was a part of the debate day one.
Yeah, and a correction. The essays that were written that I said he had overwhelming majority on was the essays defending the Constitution. Him, John Jay, and James Madison wrote them, but he just wrote the most. And in the play, he was kind of reluctant, but he wound up taking over the Federalist Papers.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Federalist Papers, y'all. Shout out to Smee for the being our field correspondent, getting us that good information.
He's right. He's right. It was a dope play. I mean, it looks like, from what I saw, it's gonna be anyway. I love the few minutes that I saw. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest. You're calling it the greatest play ever, so that's a lot.
Yeah, man. And I've done. I know you guys might not think this about me, but I've done a lot of plays. I was Travis in a Raisin in the Sun. Like I same role Tupac played. Like I was out there. I know y'all can't see it now, but. Nigga, I was out there. But moving on, Hamilton is great, and I guess we'll get back into that and maybe not. But our Nipsey Hussle Award, which are aplenty. Maya Moore, JB, Hall of Famer for the WNBA, was like league MVP like 2 out of 3 years, and won championships like 3 out of 4 years or something crazy, breaking all the records in high school, in college, and in the WNBA. Maya Moore was set to be the greatest WNBA player of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a gentleman who was wrongly arrested, wrongly imprisoned for 18 years, and she decided to give up her career and as an act of defiance until his case was looked at again. It was a robbery case where someone was allegedly killed. He didn't do it. She knew he didn't do it. And she ultimately retired from basketball as a statement. I will not play another game until they reopen his case.
Exactly.
How gangster is that?
Yeah.
How gangster is that?
Well, you look at that situation and then you look at what happened, right? Because he was originally sentenced to, I believe, 50 years in prison. But after her active involvement and her coordination with other legal advocacy groups, they were able to get his conviction overturned. So he walked out, what was it, last weekend? A free man.
Yeah, man. And they posted pictures together. She can go back to the Minnesota Lynx, her WNBA team, and continue to win more championships. Well, hold up, not at the expense of my Mystics, who did win last year. Shout out to Elena Delle Donne, because we did win the title, bitches. But Maya Moore, I applaud her. She deserves an Nipsey Hussle Award it's amazing to think of the sacrifice she made to bring attention to this gentleman's case. This ain't her friend. This ain't her homie.
No, she just
found out about it.
Well, no, she met him actually when she was 16 in high school, because she was a part of a prison ministry outreach program. And so he brought to light this issue for her. This is something that is near and dear to her heart. And she is actually considering spending more time to advocate for other other men or other people who have been wrongfully imprisoned. So her decision to go back, to the WNBA is still up in the air a little bit from what I read. Okay. But again, shout out to her and her commitment to this issue, because nobody's really fighting for. I mean, maybe Jay-Z, but
I'll give this person credit. I never give them credit. But and Kim Kardashian.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Credit. She's out there fighting.
That's fair. There are very few people out there fighting for this issue, though. So for her to step up the way she has is absolutely amazing. Speaking of stepping up, you want to move on to the next one? 21 Savage.
Well, we talked about Mika Moore. We talked about Sharon Wright, Daniel Ingram. We talked about all the kids.
Right.
Okay, good. So long as we talked about them. 21 Savage, JB, you want to take that one?
I've been drinking, so I don't remember.
Well, 21 basically put together a financial learning program for kids in impoverished neighborhoods. I don't know if it's virtual.
Yeah, it's a online. It's like a virtual learning course that he's put together, and he's actually coordinating with other learning platforms to make sure that he does it right. And it is a developmental program that is going to teach children about financial and fiscal responsibility. I believe it's called like My Bank Account or something like that. And this is a big program that he is invested in. It's called Bank Account at Home. That's what it's called. Okay. It's a nationwide initiative, and he is specifically targeting those stay-at-home students. And I touched on this issue before, Kickbackers, about how the quality of our education for our kids is declining because of COVID-19. This is 21 Savage taking a direct action to deal with that crisis. So it's amazing work.
Shout out 21. Yeah. He's been on the tear ever since they tried to lock him up and get him deported. He's been in America like, nah, nigga, I'm helping him. I'm doing some shit, nigga. Like, the fuck you mean? We talked about Hamilton, I think.
Yes.
We talked about Hamilton.
I believe we did.
So it's on Disney Plus. I would definitely say check it out. It was my highlight watch of the week. I think it's the greatest play I've ever seen. I will be listening to it and watching it. Like, it's fucking amazing. And I promise you by next week's episode, I would have watched it 2-3 more times. Like, that's what I witnessed. And you don't come across that often. And I don't think I'm overselling it, because it won like 11 of 16. What are they? The Tonys? Tony Awards? 11 of 16 Tonys. A Grammy. I think like it got a Nobel Peace Prize or something. Put a prize. Like nigga, it won a freestyle battle, nigga. Like it got a Source Award. Like it's that good. But what I want to do is dive deeper into our Netflix and chill segment. And JB, I'm gonna alley-oop to you with the Avenue show, and I'm gonna go take a piss.
Hey man, you do what you gotta do.
We're drinking beer this week, trying to be sober the whole show. That beer run through you like you never knew you.
Yeah, it does. Anyway, so Avenue, it's a show that's on HBO. I catch it through Prime because I have HBO through Prime. It's actually a show about it's a comedy, and it's about these people who go on basically like a space cruise, but it shows how they just continually fuck up over and over and over and over again. But the interesting thing about the show is it talks about how these people have made major decisions, like they've put people in majorly responsible positions just because they look good. Like So the captain of the ship is, well, I mean, you got to watch the show. It's executive produced by Will Smith. It is excellent. It is hilarious. It delves into a lot of interesting things, but it does it in a funny kind of way so you can better absorb the message. One, some of the just ridiculously stupid decisions that we make as Americans and why we make them. And he does it with this kind of layered allegory of the spaceship, but it's really awesome. So you guys should check that out. Like I said, it's on HBO now. It's called Avenue 5. It's a dope show. So yeah, there's that. Interesting shit on Netflix. There is this show called the Warrior Nuns. And it's really interesting because it takes a kind of different take on the Catholic Church. These nuns are basically like the Catholicism's ninjas, and they're like, it's one of those weird kind of foreign, but it's an action show, and it's all women doing all the action, all of the fighting. So that one's really interesting. I transitioned. It's called Warrior Nuns.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Really interesting. My daughter is actually really into that show.
I watched Bad Bloods. I think we talked about that a little bit last week. It's an excellent series on Netflix. I would recommend you watch it. I came on this show about a year ago telling y'all about a movie. I was like, nigga, Netflix got porno. It's called Love. You should watch it. And nobody said shit. Then I did a post on Facebook a couple weeks ago. And then that shit went to number 10 on Netflix. So shout out to the Kick Back Girls. Because now that I know if I give you a recommendation, you're actually going to go and watch it. Nigga, we got some power. So you need to go watch, it ain't going to show up on Hamilton because everybody watching Hamilton. But what's the Avenue show?
Avenue 5.
We watch Avenue 5. And let's see what the numbers are this time next week. So kickbackers, go watch Avenue 5 on Netflix, and we're going to figure it out. So we're going to see how powerful our influence is. Come on, kickbackers, don't let us down.
That's going to be fun. We're going to make a bump, make a dent. That's going to be fun.
Let's get into some music. Our Eargasm segment. I'll start with Pop Smoke. Rest in peace. Peace and blessings upon him. His 50 Cent executive produced album dropped Friday. We all know he had his signature sound that, he called himself that woo shit, which is like dark, almost like drill music, like Chicago gangster rap. But he had his own style. But he also reminded me of 50 a lot. And I think that's why 50 took such a liking to him, because he would do certain melodies like 50, even though his voice is probably more like mine. But the album dropped, and it's pretty good. It wasn't, my knock on Pop Smoke had been he was in that one, just his sound.
Right.
So you get an entire album of that. You don't need an album of that shit.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like 3-4 songs. But this album, he switched it up. It's some R&B beats, it's some gangster shit, it's some West Coast shit. And he rode all of them beats the right way.
Okay.
So I'm like, damn, he really could have been one of them niggas.
Yeah.
Like he had the potential to really be one of them niggas. And it's always, tragic when somebody's killed so young and so senselessly. But stream the album. The top 15 of Apple Music's single chart were all songs from his album. So he owned the top 15 by himself.
That's amazing in and of
That's
itself.
crazy.
Yeah, and shout out to 50 for stepping in and executive producing the album and making sure that it was done right. He wanted to make sure that Pop's family could eat, and again, it's just that Black solidarity, that Black love, that Black by love that we talk about, that we're seeing, that we need to keep doing. And let's follow.
By Black love, because Black by love sounds different.
By Black love. Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
And Pop Smoke does have a very unique voice, just like me. Niggas standing outside. Niggas sound like me. Ready to ride. But anyway, West Side Gun, another nigga who has a very distinct voice. Out of that, Griselda Camp dropped another album. Griselda drops a new album every 3 months, maybe 2 months.
They got a sizable crew, so they can.
Yeah, but they just be drop it. Like they killing the game. That's pretty good. So I like Paris more. His last album, that was like, to me, like a major label debut album. But he's back already. I'm like, he should have let Paris rock more. That's my opinion. But whatever. Gucci has been signing different artists over the last year. Like, tag me in an artist profile that's got good music. Tag me in somebody this. And he signed a whole bunch of youngins, and he showed them to walk them through the process. And they put out their debut album, like a compilation album for the label, So Icy Summer. And then the day after that dropped, one of his artists was in the club, and somebody tried to snatch his chain off his neck while he was rapping. And then his entourage shot bullets into the crowd, trying to get the guy. I don't think you need to kill the guy that took. I'll wait till more details come out about it, but I was just like, shit,
that sounds
nigga.
Ass backwards to me.
Like shit.
Crazy.
But that happened, and their new music is out. The Pod Name Kickback playlist is on Apple, Spotify, and Tidal. No, this is not podcast shit. This is just songs that's hot, songs that rock, songs that you need playlist, to be introduced to, songs that you enjoy. We got myself, go figure, I used to rap, Red Cups and Rillos, Lil Baby, The Bigger Picture, Wale, Moving Different, Meek Mill, Other Side of America, J. Cole, Snow on the Bluff, No Name Song 33, Jay Electronica and Jay-Z, Ghost of Soulja Slim, Her, I Can't Breathe, Beyonce, Black Parade, Megan Thee Stallion, Girls in the Hood, Saweetie, Tap In, Jack Harlow, What's Poppin', featuring Baby, Tiger, Tory Lanez, and Lil Wayne. Great song.
Yeah, that genre is great too.
Sorry the Kid, Used to Lames, Black, Elephant in the Room, Tiana Taylor, Low Key, featuring Erykah Badu and Ben Beta, Tan Line Nostalgia. Look, man, there's 20 more songs, JB.
Hit after hit after hit, hit after hit after hit. You got to check it out, man. We pop the shit on shuffle every time we go and play golf, hanging out in the house, cleaning up, whatever. It's a great mix to just vibe to. You can throw this shit on in the car after you listen to the podcast. So it's a good look, real good look.
Definitely a Pod Name Kickback playlist on Apple, Spotify, and Tidal. Shout out to Jay-Z for getting us on Tidal, my nigga. That's how you make niggas think you know somebody. Like, he must know Jay-Z. Nobody had to approve us. Rest in peace, Soulja Slim. I knew Ron was gonna say that because we got a song Ghost of Soulja Slim on there. It's a great cardio album. Yeah, Pop Smoke, you gonna get hype. Niggas outside. Christian Dior. She love when I a girl told me I sound like him, and she liked that shit. She was like, "Oh, you sound just like him." Whenever he say that thing about you, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going outside." I like tell my fucker, I'm gonna sing the word.
Don't do that, young. That's gonna be ridiculous.
Outside.
Oh my god,
ladies, what would you do if the nigga stop? But she said she like it though.
Hey, okay, whatever.
So I guess we got to go with that. I don't fucking know, young.
That's crazy.
But yeah. So download the playlist. The NFL, JB, and sports are now saying they're going to play the Black National Anthem week 1, every single team. I love the idea. I've always wanted to hear that song at a football game or basketball game. I've always wanted to hear when people win a Grammy for them to say peace to the nation of God's and nerves instead of thanking Jesus. And I wanted to hear the Black National Anthem instead of hearing the national anthem. Those are things that I grew up wanting. I know it's symbolic and it's not a lot of, I don't know how far that pushes the needle as far as getting social justice, but I just want to hear it.
Yeah, it's a start. They got a lot more work to do, especially the NFL. They got a lot more work to do, but it's good to see that they are starting to do it. What I want to see the owners do is I want the rest of the owners to wake the fuck up and start moving differently, because that's when I think real change is going to happen. A lot of people don't realize that the NFL is structured like a franchise business. So each one of their owners have basically complete autonomy over their teams,
Yeah.
right? That's what's going to move the needle in terms of what the league is doing for race relations. But you got to give a shout out to the commissioner for stepping up and saying that they handled the whole Colin Kaepernick situation poorly and incorrectly. And so these are steps in the right direction. I mean, you got to say that.
Absolutely. So good step, you guys. Good next step, I guess. Our book club.
Yes.
So I announced that we were doing a book club on Instagram, and everybody said, "Okay, cool." Well, I just posted that I was reading a book, and then I got cussed out. Why you ain't tell me you reading that book? Why you ain't tell us about the book? We ain't say nothing about the book. And I was like, here's the book. So the book is Jonah Berger's Contagious. The book is called Contagious by author Jonah Berger. He talks about the power of word of mouth, and he points out specific instances in U.S. history where word of mouth traveled really, really far, and businesses were successful based on word of mouth. And he does comparisons as well to other businesses that weren't as successful, even though you may think they were. And he also dispels what you may consider word of mouth worthy. So it is a really good book. It's a really good read. It'll get you in your marketing mind. It'll get you in your promotion mind. It talks about social media. This isn't a book that was written in the 1400s. So it's, it's current. It talks about Facebook trends and Instagram, and it talks about just word of mouth in general and the power of it. And the most powerful version of word of mouth is not the internet. It's face-to-face conversation.
Absolutely.
So I was thinking, ironically, you said absolutely. So that's something you guys could take a look at. And we're reading it now.
Yeah.
I'm about halfway through, but I think we'll discuss it starting next week. We'll do like a beginning, middle, end.
That sounds good.
3 episodes.
Good. I'm about a chapter or so in right now. The book is about 6 hours and 50 minutes long. So in terms of an audio book, it's a relatively quick listen, but very, very interesting, very, very in-depth, details about what happened. And also I like the narrator's tone too. I like he keeps it light and fresh,
Yeah, and so you can tell we're doing audio books. I don't know if you guys are doing audio books now or if you're just reading books, but I started doing audio books because I can listen to that shit in the car. I can listen to that shit while I'm cleaning up. I can listen to it late at night when I'm chilling, and I ain't got to read. I can have my lights off. I can be in the bed just listening. It's just way more convenient. I think podcasts did that to me because I didn't want to do it at first, but I think liking so many different podcasts, now I can listen to books that way. And I love it now. I love it.
Yeah, I'm a audiobook OG. Like I used to have audiobooks on tape back in the day because I was traveling so much. So audiobooks were just a great way to absorb material without the necessity of reading. One of the things I've always used them for is actually to go to sleep. Like when I'm laying it down at night and I know I need to get up in the morning, I'll pop on an audiobook and I'll mark the spot where I started when I got in the bed because I'm probably going to fall asleep and not hear most of that shit. But it just puts me to sleep. And there have been studies that talk about your absorption of knowledge through your subconscious, even while you're sleeping, which is why they encourage you to play certain types of music for children when you're sleeping. So it's just a really good look. And this book is particularly interesting. We'll get into this one and then I'll pick the next book. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and JB's giving me some ideas on this next book. Or the next books, because we're gonna alternate, I guess.
Yeah.
So I know, I'm more into the self-help and informational, and JB's more into the fantasy world. So, or fiction. Well, fiction, fantasy.
Fiction / fantasy. But really where I want to start is fiction, because I think my love for certain fiction elements created this love for fantasy.
Okay. So we'll have fun with that. There's no homework. If you want to read along with us, you can. If you don't, then you don't. And it's all good. You can still enjoy the rest of the show. But the book for July is Contagious by Jonah Berger. Contagious by Jonah Berger.
Yeah.
And then August, we'll get into JB's book. And we'll go month to month as long as you Negroes keep up.
Yeah. It's available. It's available on Apple's eBooks. It's also available on Audible.
Yeah, I got no Audible.
So it is readily available. And join the journey with us. It should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I know we had some technical difficulties this week.
Sorry about that, y'all.
It happens. We're a live show.
Yeah.
I know you're listening to this on Monday. Like, y'all niggas be live. Well, you should know from all the comments, but yes, we are a live show, and you can watch us on our Facebook page, which is a pod named Kickback. You can go to our Facebook, do a search for our fan page, and then watch the show live every fucking Sunday night at 6 p.m.
Right.
Every Sunday night at 6 p.m.
Right.
Every Sunday night at 6 p.m. And you can join the actual conversation, or you can wait till Monday morning, as JB always say, your drive time, go on to work and listen to it then. Whatever fits your schedule.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. We love you, man. Good night and God bless. We will see y'all first thing in the morning on Monday morning.
Yeah, man. Uno, we out. But you know what I want to do before I let y'all go?
Yeah, go ahead, hit that jump.
I want to get this going here. Let me see. I know I got it right.
By those who teach lies. They don't teach the law of cause and effect. They make the people believe when they see it rain that a spook is producing it. But the rain is real. How then can the cause be unreal?
Shut up, Minister Farrakhan.
You are witnessing conditions in the world that are produced by real men, but you don't see the real cause of the effect of your own suffering. Because the bloodsuckers of the poor make you think that God is some mystery God. Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us that there is 5% who are the poor righteous teachers who don't believe the teaching of lies of the 10%. But this 5% are all wise and know who the true and living God is. And they teach that the true and living God is the Son of Man, the supreme being, the black man of Asia. They're also known as civilized people, Muslims and Muslim sons. Here is a small percentage of people who know God. And when they know God, they have a duty. And that duty is to teach what you know to those who do not know. Then those of us who are in pursuit of that duty have 10%, the rich, the bloodsuckers of the poor, the slave makers of the poor. They hate the 5%. They have control over 85%. So they turn the 85% against the righteous teacher. This is how they've been able to kill the prophets, kill their communities, because the leaders who are the bloodsuckers of the poor have control over the minds of the masses, and they feed the masses more lies about a righteous teacher, so that the righteous teacher will be persecuted by the 10%, not helped by the 85%, so that they can kill the righteous teacher. But a new thing is happening today. A new thing is happening today.
The revolution will be televised. Uno, we out.